I'm fired up, ready to get this going, ready to talk about corporate credit with all these business owners, show them what we can do for them.
We have Brent Barnhart. He's a veteran entrepreneur and corporate credit consultant with over 25 years of experience in business ownership. Over the course of his career, Brent has founded and operated multiple successful companies across various industries, collectively generating more than $50 million in revenue. His journey through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship has given him a unique firsthand understanding of what it takes to build, grow, and sustain a profitable business. After decades of navigating the financial challenges that many business owners face, Brent discovered the powerful impact that properly structured corporate credit can have on a company's stability and growth. Now he dedicates his time to helping other entrepreneurs separate their personal credit from their business credit. Brent continues to be a trusted partner for entrepreneurs ready to take their business to the next level the smart way. So without further ado, please make some noise for Brent. Come on up.
How you guys doing? So, I want to first thank Bill. This is amazing. I came to this last year, picked up so many little things, working with, if you guys aren't taking advantage of everybody that's got up here and that spoke already, definitely do. It changes everything. In fact, I'm going to be going to a lot more of these now after coming again and having a refresher of how it works. So, I'm going to be interactive, so I might even come walk around down there. But first thing I want to ask you is, why do we incorporate? Right? Somebody. Protection, liability. There's three reasons. Tax benefits is one. Separate your personal credit and your personal finances and your business finances, correct? And then the third one is to look legit in the world, in the eyes of the world. Nobody wants to hire somebody that doesn't have a business, right? They want somebody that looks legit. So what happens when you go to the bank and they make you personally guarantee everything? You're not protecting those personal assets. You're not keeping that separation. Who knows the three types of credit? Personal, corporate, you've heard me speak, and business credit. We all use the term business credit. Well, that's basically you and your business. That's when you're personally guaranteeing things. When you cross over to the corporate credit side, you're doing things without having to put your social, your date of birth on applications. Who knows the business credit bureaus? Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, that's personal. Equifax Business. So Equifax Business is one of the most overlooked, and it's what dealerships pull if they're going to run a vehicle on your EIN number. In fact, I've met with, I don't know, probably a dozen $30-40 million companies that literally buy a jet on their EIN number, and then 2 weeks later get declined to buy a pickup because they worked on Dun & Bradstreet, and that's who, when they funded the jet, it went through Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax Business. They didn't have a profile. So you have to be intentional with it. This is what our platform can do for a business. So this is actually a Texas-based trucking company. She spends about $60,000 a month at this point. We started working with her, and you can see her credit limit recommendation. That's on the EIN number. That's without looking at her personally. Started going up. How are we doing so far? 65.6? Who'd be happy with that in the room? Okay. This was 10 months into her journey. Now how are we doing? You got to create, I'm going to say it's more than once, you got to create your demonstrated ability to borrow and pay. This is something you have to be very intentional about. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of my previous companies. You think when you get to a certain size of company, you're just going to be able to have access to money, right? Everybody agree? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to tell you something. I was a FedEx ground contractor doing about $6 million a year. It was a 15-year-old company. I sold it all in 2022. I was in 4 states. $6 million company, spending $450,000 every single month. Somebody give me a guess or throw out a number what you think my purchase power was with that company. I heard nothing. $1 million, $4 million, $40. I went to my bank where my money was deposited every Friday, over $100,000, and asked for a $100,000 line of credit. What'd they tell me? You don't have any business credit. I said, I pay all my bills. I don't know what you mean. Well, my vendors were not reporting to the credit bureaus. In fact, 95% do not report. So you got to find that 5% that do. And funny enough, the only reason I had that, my cell phone bill was reporting, and so was a power washer I bought for my fleet. I mean, I had $3 million in notes, and that's all I got. So this is a different company. This is one of my clients. He's a Detroit, same industry. He's a FedEx contractor out of Detroit. $400,000 company. This is actually his taxi service company. Based on my profile, what would you say his recommendation would be? 1,000? See, 1,000 a lot, by the way. $234,000 because he had stuff reporting, demonstrating his ability to borrow and pay. So how do you do it? Everybody wants to know how we do it, right? Yeah. All right. So this is our program, 7-step program. The very first thing you have to do is establish your foundation. Doesn't matter how old the company is, they always have something wrong in step 1. Doesn't matter how big the company is, there's always something wrong in step 1. Little things that you wouldn't think mattered, matter. The address of the business. You know, if you're using your home, that's a big no-no. You know, we recommend people get virtual addresses. Your business phone number can't be your cell phone unless it can be listed with Business 411. You have to have a website. You have to have your email at the domain name. These are just some examples. If you have a Gmail, Outlook, Hotmail, AOL, SBC, whatever email, you will automatically be declined for credit. And you have to register with the bureaus. If you don't register with the bureaus, they don't even know you exist. My trucking company had an Experian profile, and it said I was a paid television company out of Florida, and I did 1.3 million in sales and had 7 employees. And there was also loans on there that were not mine. So, and they were in default. So there's a lot of misinformation on credit reports. So if somebody else could have created one for you by mistake, a bank or somebody, and they don't know your business. So you have to monitor these things. So then we jump into tier 1 vendors. These are going to be store accounts, fuel cards, business credit cards that report. They have to do 2 things or they can't be in our platform. Number 1, they have to tell us who they report to. Okay? So you can go out and target the bureaus individually. So you can grow all 3 scores at the same time. The second thing they have to do is they have to give us their approval criteria. So you're not going out there applying for something and not getting approved. Now, always at the beginning, your company's 18 years old, you got to hold its hand, co-sign for it until it establishes that credibility. And then you're going to monitor the credit. We'll connect you with the monitoring service. Again, like I said, I'm going to tell you guys real quick, I have a company that I created. It's 2 years old tomorrow, 27th, Thursday. My daughter's birthday, ironically. I created on her birthday. 2 years old. It has a $55,000 credit limit recommendation. I have $100,000 in corporate credit cards. I drive a Ram TRX that's in that company name, and I bought my 19-year-old daughter a $45,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee in that company name about a month ago. The company has no revenue. That's because I've demonstrated my ability to borrow and pay. I use those credit cards for my everyday expenses at home, and I pay for it personally. So I'm not doing anything illegal. The company hasn't even filed taxes yet. It's 2 years old. I need to start filing taxes with it. Then you graduate to tier 2. Once you get to tier 2, you're going to pick 3 more. You pick 3 in each tier. You'll pick 3 more, use them, and say this is using for your everyday expenses. So you're not doing anything different. You're just using something you're actually getting credit for. I was a big believer in, if I don't have the money, I ain't paying for it. So I'd always use a debit card. They don't give me any credit. Then you'll graduate tier 3. These are all rinse and repeat. You get to tier 3, you do the same thing. Then you get to tier 4. That's where you've demonstrated your ability to borrow and pay. And now you are top tier credit. And based on what you've shown on the credit bureaus, you will have access to, 10x or 5x or whatever it is. Every industry is different. So I'm going to repeat this. It's all about your demonstrated ability to borrow and pay. If you have nothing there, you have nothing shown. Our program comes with 5 years access to our platform and a year's worth of coaching. So we're going to teach you how to do this. At some point, I won't have a stage to be on. I'm going to teach everybody how to do this.